Great to have you in. By the way, Baker Mayfield took more shots at me yesterday. I swear to God, his last 5 tweets, he's ripping me. I'll address it later in the hour. I don't want to, but whatever. Joy's joining me. It's the Herd, Deere, and Fox in about 10 minutes. The Houston Rockets yesterday, basically, Daryl Morey came out and kind of leaked it and just said, I'll trade everybody. James Harden, I would trade him too. Now, probably not, but I'll trade everybody. And I love this, is that, my sports belief system is pretty simple. Be aggressive, always evolve, championship or bust. I mean, that to me is, sports is real simple. Just get after it. Always try to learn and be curious and go after titles. Michael Jordan's Bulls, after titles, kept adding people. They were adding really good all-star level players after titles, in the middle of their dynasty. The Warriors had a title, and they added KD. They're constantly growing. The Houston Rockets, by the way, back in the 90s, 94, 95, won a title with Akeem Olajuwon. They added Clyde Drexler anyway the following year. Daryl Morey is basically saying, listen, we lost to these guys in the playoffs with KD. We lost at the end without KD. This isn't good enough. We're going to go for it. And the owner, Tillman Fertitta, who I don't know, but I know the family because they were kind of the 2 or 3 Vegas families of note when I lived there. He said, I can promise you, we're going to win championships with Harden because we're not going to sit here. I can promise you that. We're not going to sit in our hands here. Listen, the Boston Celtics had KG, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen, and Doc Rivers, and they won 1 title. They won it in 2008, and they didn't make enough moves, and they sat on their hands till 2013 before they blew it up, 5 years. And they were good, but they didn't tweak enough. And I'm not blaming any individual person, but that group of guys should have won more than 1 title. And by the way, the Utah Jazz, never forget that. They made the finals in 97 and 98. MJ retired. Now is the time to... They didn't make any big moves, and they never got back to the finals again. So they got there for a couple years. MJ takes some time off. Everybody's like, yeah, had no reason to mess this up. No, keep getting better. That's why I like the Toronto story this year. I didn't think they'd make the finals, but they were a number 1 seed, and they fired their head coach. He was coach of the year. They're like, we don't think he's good enough. It's not working. Boom. What? He just won the plaque. And then they had DeMar DeRozan, most popular player ever for the Raptors. We're moving on. He's an all-star. What are you doing? And we're going to get Kawhi Leonard. Well, he may not play. He's a rental. Oh, okay. Like Toronto just said, we're going to be totally aggressive. By the way, trading deadline. We're going to take away some of our depth, and we're going to get Marc Gasol. Oh, you need depth in the playoffs. No, we need Marc Gasol more than depth. They fired a coach, went and got a potential rental, trade Marc Gasol at the trading deadline. Aggressive, evolving, aggressive, evolving. What they're telling you is championship or bust. And I love this. This is, there's one of my favorite sayings, and I've said this on the show before. There's a guy named Andy Grove, and he ran this company called Intel, and it's a great business saying, only the paranoid survive. And Andy Grove said, no, be paranoid. They do want your job. If you have a great job and run a great company, people do want to knock it off its perch. They do want your job. Colin, that's no way to live, to be paranoid. It's better than being unemployed. It's better than losing. Now, I can live with a little paranoia. If I wake up every morning, I'm like, man, I got to keep working harder or I'll get replaced at Fox. I can live with that. What I can't live with is, hey, your ratings stink, you're gone. That's what I can't live with. I got mouths to feed. So Tom Brady, by the way, was paranoid about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's like, you're trying to replace me. Get him out of here. Bob Kraft. By the way, Brady was right. He went to back-to-back Super Bowls. Brady's like, I'm paranoid. I don't like him around here. So what Houston is saying and Houston is doing, there is a history in sports. Even when you're winning titles, MJ's Bulls and the Warriors, add pieces because they're all coming after you. Be paranoid. A little paranoia is okay. It's healthy, and it keeps you on your toes. But what you don't want to do is, we're this close. We're this close. We're fine. We just need a couple of breaks because I felt Houston came into the playoffs this year kind of like, okay, let's make it a math equation. We'll get to the free throw line more than Golden State. And the NBA said, no. We're not going to have 65 free throws in these games. We're not letting that analytic stuff. So it's time to evolve. Now, if they can get somebody to buy the Chris Paul contract, I'm not sure they will. But I love their mindset. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So a lot has been made about Steph Curry's lack of a finals MVP throughout the Warriors dynasty. Despite having 2 regular season MVP awards, the finals MVP trophy has been elusive for Steph, and he was asked about it yesterday on TNT.
Well, yeah, I understand that's the conversation, and I like that conversation because it means I've been here plenty of times and we're still winning. For us to win championships, I know I have to be playing at a very high level. Whether that means a finals MVP or not, I'll let that kind of work itself out. But in terms of chasing rings and banners, that's the first and foremost. You can't cheat the game that way.
Here's the updated finals MVP odds.
Oh, okay.
Steph Curry, minus 140.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard plus 300. Draymond Green plus 600. My, I don't know if you would call it a sleeper, but I think I'm going with Klay Thompson. Just got a little feeling.
Kind of so do I.
Right?
Well, you gotta.
A lot can happen in a series.
He tends to be streaky. When he gets hot, he takes over games. He is the basketball tsunami. He hits 6-7 threes in a row. He'll change a series.
I think he's just going to be playing with a little chip on his shoulder after the All-NBA snub, and I'm going with Klay Thompson there.
How
also,
about Draymond Green third? That's a lot of respect for Draymond Green.
He'd have to have a pretty tremendous series, I think, too. That's kind of actually surprising to me.
Yeah.
Not that Draymond isn't great. He has been playing great. But still. Also, just as a note, Mark Medina just tweeted that Steve Kerr said DeMarcus Cousins will be active for Game 1.
Oh, so Boogie's going to be available.
Boogie is going to be available.
I think that I will say this. Between Gasol, Ibaka, and Pascal Siakam, Golden State could use a little size. I'm not saying for long periods, but there is a length advantage for Toronto tonight. And what does that mean? That means getting offensive boards, getting another shot. So Golden State's the better shooting team. But I do think without KD and Boogie, they have no length at all.
Boogie hasn't been around for so long. Doesn't that make you a little nervous with the rhythm?
Golden State never makes me nervous. They just figure stuff out.
I don't know. You know I'm going for the Raptors anyway. All right, so the Clippers have been pegged to be a potential Kawhi landing spot this summer. They currently have the highest odds to do so, and now they've apparently tried to take another unique approach to pursue him. According to Mark Stein of the New York Times,
I love this.
They have quietly looked into the feasibility of purchasing the portion of the rights to Leonard's claw logo that is still owned by Nike. Such an acquisition would theoretically enable them to bestow full control of the logo upon Leonard as part of their anticipated free agency pitch meeting with the Toronto superstar.
And that was a good article yesterday. I read that. Yeah, no, that's kind of fascinating, isn't it?
It's very interesting. Now, Nike's likely not going to give this up because they don't want to see it on any New Balance clothing. This is part of the article as well. It's kind of unique how the Clippers would be able to delegate the money to do this as well.
Even if you're not doing it, could I just say by getting this story out, it shows you how much love they have for Kawhi. And if I'm Kawhi reading that, I'm like, man, they really like me a lot.
It is very creative.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, they could also, if they were actually able to get it before the free agency period started, they could also use it for billboards and things like that.
Can we put it up one more time for our FS1 audience to watch? It's a really cool logo. This is the hand logo, right?
Yes.
That is a great, whoever made, Nike made that? That is a great logo.
Well, it's also a great logo because Kawhi Leonard's hands are ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they just go on forever.
It actually kind of makes sense that he is with the Raptors. His hands are ginormous. He has Raptor hands. Yes, it's a perfect logo for him. But it's likely going to stay with Nike. And finally, after a long anticipated wait, Zion Williamson has signed with an agency. He signed with CAA Sports.
Yes.
It was being reported that he was also considering Clutch Sports and Rich Paul, but CAA is the landing spot's powerhouse agency, obviously. And it's no surprise that Zion teamed with them ahead of the draft, and he is obviously a once-in-a-generation player who's going to bring in a lot of ticket sales and national interest.
Who are you repped by?
I'm rep by CAA.
That's
Who are you
interesting.
rep by, Colin?
I have no idea right now.
Oh, okay.
We are all rep by CAA. I saw that yesterday, and I was going to give love. I'm like, well, welcome to the family. But I
Right.
thought that would be a little ostentatious.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, Zion. But I do think I'm coming around to this whole Pelicans idea. And this was before this story that I had come around to this. I saw that Master P and Romeo offered Zion a $20 million shoe deal away from basketball, just like a leisure shoe deal.
Right.
I really think that there could be something there with the Pelicans. I know we all initially had kind of our shock reaction to them getting the number 1 overall pick, but New Orleans is a fun city. A lot of people go there.
Okay, so this is interesting. So, Joy, at the top of next hour, we'll go through this. I'm going to make my predictions on where guys go. And to that point, I'm not going to give it up yet, but it's very interesting.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
I am coming around to it. I think it's going to be a cultural experience, and Zion has the magnetism that Anthony Davis lacks, that he wasn't able to bring to that franchise.
Yeah, that's not disputable. This kid is a walking billboard smile.
I think there could be something there.
Yeah, good stuff. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line
I had
News.
this